Hi everyone, I'm so excited. I have Melissa Corian here today. And Melissa, I'm so excited we connected through telepathy tapes and autistic group on Facebook, and it's been such a joy following some of her guided meditations that we had with Kevin, and I'm so excited to have you, Melissa. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here also. It's really exciting for me too. And so I'm really happy that you asked me to join you.
Yes, and Melissa, it's been fun to connect with you lately. 7-year old daughter who is gifted and has labels as well, and I love to focus on the highly sensitive pieces of her. She's been, I was going to use this as an example. My mom has a puppy. It's a miniature schnauzer puppy, Eddie. He's 6 months old. I guess I can use he's okay being public, so I'll use his name. But my daughter loves playing with him. And every day after school, she's like, "Are we going to see Eddie?" And I feel like he's a grounding piece for her. So I'd love to ask you about animals with neurodivergent kids and gifted kids or highly sensitive kids as well.
That is true. They do have such a divine connection with each other. I'm actually one of those people myself. I was always connected as a child with animals too, and I think they are a very unique grounding piece for children and adults. But I could see how your daughter, they have that connection, and they're most likely talking throughout the day with each other, and she is just excited to be near him. And so maybe if she had a stressful day at school or something, didn't go right or feel right, that when she sees Eddie, that just gives her that grounding piece again. The animals know when we're off and sense that, and so he's probably looking forward just as much to see her so that he can give her that beautiful energy also. And so when they're just playing together, it's just pure joy and just such a beautiful energy. And there is no stipulations. And they just both feel that sense of calmness and peace together.
Is it a piece of the animals let us be who we truly are? Because I feel like society has these expectations, right? Parents have expectations of kids. When they're at school, the teacher has expectations, rules they have to live by. Is that animals, they don't have that for us? Or I was curious.
They just do. They truly want us to be ourselves. That is kind of one of the things that they are here for, is to bring us back to remember who we truly are. And their guided messages that they give us throughout the day, or when they sense we're off in somehow, or whatever came through in that day, they are there to kind of come and say, hey, so when they're acting off too, that's kind of a little reality check for us too. That, oh, maybe something's going on with us. And so it's kind of like their way of going, hey, take a look, see what's going on with you. Do you feel your energy is a little heightened, or that, you might have experienced something today that sent you off and you don't even recognize that or know it happened? And then when you come in contact with your pet, they are like, oh, hey, they might be a little, barking extra or meowing too much or just seem a little squirrely. And they are just looking, it's their little guidance way for us to go, hey, do a double check with yourself. And they can see things, also that we can't. And so they might be forewarning us that, something might be coming, or that they sense something different that we don't see. And so they are just truly there to be our messengers and our guides at pretty much all the time.
Wow. I have a question for you from my kids that just came to me. My kids have always been curious if animals live in the present moment or what that looks like for animals.
They do. They truly don't think about anything from that, what besides right now. Like, they're thinking about taking a nap or laying in the sun. They're not worried about, oh, something happened yesterday, and they're not playing that little reel in their head, kind of like us humans do. And so by them, they don't think about, oh, that happened to me yesterday. Oh, that was so sad. They're just really, I'm up today. I'm going to go lounge. I'm going to go play. I'm going to go just be. And that is another thing that they're here for us for. So, like, they want us to just be present and not be all anxious and crazy and wondering what's going on, and just to be with ourselves. And by them showing us that, the calmer we are, the calmer they are also. And so that is true. They really live in the present moment. For they have a connection bond with each one of us. And so when I do my animal communication sessions, we ask who is in the home with the animals, and then I ask them specifically for each person that's in the house with them. What is their soul contract with that human? And so it could, they have them even with the children and everyone in there. There's some little, contract that the reason that they came for. And it is astounding to hear, what they are really here for. Some are here to show unconditional love to one person in the family that maybe grew up and didn't feel that. Or some are here to bring you into your gifts that have, we may have had them, myself included, as a child. Like, I communicated with animals. And then just as I, grew older, it kind of dimmed my light. Not saying I still didn't connect, but not as I felt like I used to. And so when I had my cats come back into my life, two that are in spirit now and the two that are here living with me, it was kind of a reconnection, like a rebirth almost for myself. Like, hey, this is what I'm here for. You need to get back on track to talking about us and bringing the animals back out to life, and you're a messenger for us to speak for us. And I started to take the cues, because Harley, my girl cat, is really been the dominating force behind everything that I've been doing the last 5 years. I channel a lot through her, and stuff comes from Hendrix too. He's her brother, but Harley has literally told me since the day we got them 5.5 years ago, like, that this was her purpose, to get me on my, road and the right track again. And that is kind of what I've been doing ever since. It brought me closer to my own self. And it's actually brought me into the community that I met you with, and meeting neurodivergent children also, and seeing that more in my own self. So she's kind of been that mirror for me to, like, hey, Mom, when you seem anxious and when you're off, that kind of gives me a little bit of anxiety too. And us as parents, I know could see my nervous system was ramped up when I was, my children are grown now, but when they were younger. And so, and even with the animals, it's the same thing, when you come home from a stressful day, or you've had anything stressful, and you come flying in the house, and just like the whirlwind goes, they're kind of there too, just taking that all in, and they're not sure what the heck happened, you know. And so they'll either try to come and sit next to you sometimes, even or even at your feet or on your lap. And what they're doing is they're bringing grounding into your body, where they're pulling that energy out of you also into themselves. That is what selfless beings they are. So they don't want us to be stressed. They don't want us to feel on edge. They don't want us to feel that way. So they really want to just come and bring us peace into our body too, because they know when that happens, it's going to reflect back to them, and then they're going to feel calmer and safer too, just like children do with parents and animals too.
That's wonderful. I love that. I was thinking about the animals, and you and I were talking about the Schumann resonance and how It's for those that may not understand it. I believe, and you can fix me if I say this incorrectly. Please feel free to correct me. It's the energy that the earth is emitting is that, and we can pick it up, especially if we're more sensitive. A lot of neurodiverse kids, highly sensitive people like myself, we can be more aware, or it can really feel, we can feel those effects. It can feel heavy or draining or intense. Do the animals, is there a reason that the animals maybe don't pick it up like we do? Is it because we're so in our minds? What would be your idea about this? And maybe you don't know. I don't know.
No, I do think they do pick it up a little bit, honestly, because they see those energies kind of like the autistic children do too. They're out there in that higher ether, I feel, that up it more into the 5D level. And I feel they do sense energy. So if you're like in your house and your dog, which has been an example, my grandpup comes here a lot, and she's just been barking out into the air. There's nothing here. We live out in the, in a quiet area. And so
Yeah.
then it's just like, who are you barking at? What is going on? That kind of, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, she's sensing something else out there, because I do believe there are other entities out there, some, that aren't looking to provide, I don't like the word good, but good things,
Sure.
out there versus the beautiful lights and forces out there that are working with us and not against us. And so I really do believe that they feel a lot of those energies too on a different, a little bit different wavelength, because they are here also for their own mission. They are here for us, but they are here to come to Earth kind of just like we did they have their own soul contract with themselves too. And so I do believe that they do feel that though, and it makes them off maybe a little bit. And so we're sensing that from them too, because we are all one consciousness and one energy, big ball of energy. And so I think that that really is part of what they go through too.
So they feel it as well. I think it's interesting. My son, who's 10, he asks questions about animals. My daughter's drawn to them. My son, it's like he's very drawn to orcas because they're brave and they're the king of the ocean, he says. And he feels like for him, there's pieces, being so sensitive to the world, there's pieces that he could grow in and he wishes was different about him. So he sees this orca as this prominent figure, right? Like his spirit animal. So that's why I was curious if the animals, they're feeling it as well, but maybe they don't sit in it like we do. Maybe they're able to release it in a different way. Some
I
of these
truly,
neurodiverse kids, right?
I believe that too. I really think like they just feel it and they, say, okay, I either am not going to deal with this or I don't need it right now, and release it by either getting up. When you see your animal get up and shake, like a dog shakes, that's
Yes.
like releasing their energy out of them. And I believe that with my cat. Like I think that's why she wants to be outside in the grass, because she is such a highly intuitive animal, that she is also neurodivergent too. And so it's not just people, animals
Yeah.
are too. And I believe that's why she wants to go outside. And I'm letting her do it more, but I'm also, explaining to her there are things in different animals around here that live that could harm you. And so I don't want harm to come to you, but I also want you to go run and get that grounding, because I see how it helps her release that energy too, just like it would for our kids. And so, if they're having a bad day or feeling distressed or overwhelmed, and I know a lot of them don't like to touch grass because of the textures and the
Yep.
feelings on the feet. And so, even if we could have a plant inside, to me, that's still nature,
Mm-hmm.
and they are feeling that. And just watch how you would talk to a plant and nurture it. And I'm telling you, it will grow. And that might be something for, children too that don't want to go touch the grass, because if they could go just even talk to a tree, I really believe they have that connection. I know I did as a kid. Being outdoors was
Mm-hmm.
just so grounding for me. When we were kids, you come in when the street lights were on, and it was like I remember not wanting to come in or being outdoors. It didn't matter if it was what the season was. It was just like you were still outside, because I think we just felt that grounding energy so much, and we needed that to come back to balance within ourselves.
Yeah, that's part of what's tricky. And sometimes I think for some of the neurodiverse kiddos, it can be tricky for to get them outside because they can control their environment when they're inside. My son, when he was younger, there was a plant that wasn't doing as well. And I was like, buddy, would you spray down this plant? I need to spray it with this soapy water and we got to clean the leaves and let's talk to it. And he's like, I'm going to give it some Reiki, mom. I'm going to give it some love. And so he was out there talking to it and giving it his version of Reiki. And it was so nuts. We brought that plant in, and 2 weeks later, it blossomed. And it was not a blossoming type of plant that normally you see blossom. It was some type of like succulent type of, it was interesting, but it had this giant ornate flower and it was beautiful. We were like, wow, buddy, look what you did. So I love it, grounding
He
our
did
kids like
do
that.
that. Like truly, that was his healing. He was sending that beautiful energy that he has to that plant, and it was responding. And it just shows you how connected we are with nature and animals, and just they listen and they want that for us. And the call, and I'm sure that brought so much peace and calming and joy inside of him too, while he got to, experience doing that. And I was going to say too about the orca. Yeah, like that is something too that shows what a beautiful, creature to look up to and admire and see, how close he probably is. He probably talks with them all the time. And, when maybe he's not feeling so something came up and that could be his quiet space and he can go talk to them and they're telling, giving him some advice. And it's just amazing what they really do. Like it goes beyond my comprehension at times of how deep the connection really is, how the animals connect to other animals. I've witnessed that also in my animal communication sessions. I'll be talking with an animal and they have said they've known my animals. Or I was doing a session and my cat walked into the room and the animal's like, "Hey, I know your cat. We've talked to each other." So then I was just like, did the animals orchestrate this? Or it just goes so deep to me that it's unfathomable sometimes of really where, how high up they go and how they know so much. And
Yeah.
it's just amazing to me that I would never think that about an animal, so many years ago. And I think that's part of it too. They're not just an animal. And I think if we see our pet as one of us, because they truly are an equal to us, it will change your whole thought about them. It will deepen your bond with them. You look at them really in a different light after you see, and especially doing, animal session with them, and when the human reads what the animal really has to say to them, it really blows their mind that wow, they really do know way more than they think that they think we know. It has just been such a beautiful thing to unfold for people. And then especially, if an animal is in spirit, when I do a session for them, and they feel a lot of times an animal may have died tragically,
Mm-hmm.
or they felt so bad because they had to put an animal down.
Mm-hmm.
And when you connect with the animal, I haven't had one yet that has said anything mean or had anything bad to say about the parent. It's like, thank you for being with me. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for taking care of me while I was ill. Or, if it was a tragic thing that happened, if they say they got hit by a car or were sick, and passed away, animals don't feel it like we do. We watch it because we're the ones left here. Just like even with a human passing, we're the human left behind on the earth is usually the one that is suffering more.
Yep.
And so they've always just said, nope, we were here 1 second, we're gone, we were playing. And if they couldn't do things here on earth, when I ask them how they're doing now, and they're able to express, things like maybe they had arthritis and they couldn't get around, or things like that, and now they're telling me they're running and they're jumping. Just that
Aw.
validation, for the human is such a beautiful experience. And you can feel that love connection and that deepening their bond. Like it makes it so much easier, I feel, with the grief process
Mm-hmm.
to go through that, knowing now, like, oh, they're so much happier. Not that they don't miss
Oh.
you, but that they're not in that pain that they were before, or things like that. And it's just so beautiful to witness. I've left so many sessions with people having a complete different shift in energy from the start to the end, just to know how different, their animal is now versus what we saw in their earthly
Mm-hmm.
body. And so it's just been beautiful to witness that.
That's so beautiful. I was actually just bringing tears to my eyes, too. I had a golden retriever that my mom had to give away when I was at college. And so I didn't get to say goodbye to her, but Bailey, I miss my Bailey. And so it's just so lovely to hear that even though they're not right with you, we're still connected and they can still feel the love you had for them, or you can still say goodbye to them in your own way, too. Yeah,
And they
I
usually
love
never
it.
really leave us. They're here not in the physical form, but
Sure.
they are still playing a role in spirit, guiding us and directing us. So I'm sure Bailey has been with you throughout this whole time and been giving you messages or signs
Mm-hmm.
that, you're on the right track, or whatever, you may have been going through. But I can
It's
really
beautiful.
sense Bailey is there with you. Yeah.
That's really special. Just in the right timing, just when I needed it right today. So that was good timing. Thank you so much, Melissa. I've
You're
had
welcome.
such a lovely chat with you, and I think I'm going to encourage my 10-year-old to pull out some Orca Lego figurines again because he's kind of moved into Star Wars, but we might have to bring in a little bit of orcas for us as well. I think it's a great one for him to connect with.
Yes, I just did a guided meditation this past week, and it was so profound. The people that connected with their animals after we chatted, and the animals and spirit came through for so many people of their animals that passed, and then some that are present, or even in the wild. So if you see,
Cool.
a deer may cross your path, or a bunny hops by, or a bird. Don't second guess that they're not a messenger for you. They truly are. Any animal that comes by, connect with it or look it up after, because I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
every animal means, but
Yeah.
go look it up and go, they came for a reason. It might be
Mm-hmm.
something you were going through or thought about doing or thinking about doing, or and oh wow, that was their message. That really struck me, or that really, hit. They were telling me it's okay, or they were telling me to move forward, or they were telling me to pause and take a breath. But so don't discredit any of those animals out in the wild, because they are literally cross our path for a reason too.
It's so true. I have to tell you a story. My daughter was born 3 weeks early and she was in the NICU for oxygen. She's now 7. But at the time, I was having to do like a breast pump to get breast milk. And it was 3 o'clock. No, I think it was 5 o'clock in the morning. And I had this breast pump on and I was feeling so sad because they let me out of the hospital, but she was still in the NICU. So I was pumping and crying because this wasn't what I thought everything would look like. And I looked out my window, and standing by the window was this elk, like this giant elk right by my window. I was like, oh. And all of a sudden, I could feel the energy of elk are strong, and you are strong, and you are going to get through this. And this is a hard moment in your life, but everything's going to be okay. Like you were a strong person, you were strong like the elk, and focus on just keep going for her and keep going with all of this, and you guys are going to be okay. And I was just bawling and crying, and it was a beautiful moment. So I totally agree with you. They're there and they come in these timings.
That is a beautiful message that was so delivered at the right time.
Yeah,
There
for
never
sure.
is a coincidence. They are just always synchronicities, and they show up right when we need them the most.
They do. It's beautiful. And definitely the spirits around us too. My grandmother, she always sends me bald eagles and red-tailed hawks. And right after she had passed, my mom and I were driving in the car, and all of a sudden an eagle swept down in front of our window, and I thought I was going to hit it. It was so close. I slammed on my brakes. We're like, whoa, okay, Abuela, we know you're here, and we were just talking about you and laughing in the car, and we know you're with us, but don't make us hit the eagles.
How
So
beautiful,
yes.
though. What beautiful messengers to be sent. Grandma's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
near.
I know, we love it. It's beautiful. So, just in my backyard all the time, just sitting on our deck, just red tailed hawks, just sitting there looking at us eye to eye through the glass. We're like, okay, yes, we know. We'll change. We know you're here.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, really lucky. Well, thank you so much, Melissa, for all you're doing for our community. I love the work you do helping children that are nonverbal to connect with their families and helping people to connect with their animals and healing and all of these pieces. It's been so lovely to connect with you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It has been wonderful to talk with you too.
Well, that's a wrap. Thanks so much for tuning in, Changemakers. This is Carrie. And if you haven't done a review for us, 5 stars, and a little few words about what you've enjoyed in our podcast episodes, we would really appreciate it. If you guys would like to ever message me, I would love any questions you have or any feedback at info@hearttoheartlife.com. We also have a brand new website, which we're super excited to share. It's hearttoheartlife.com. Thanks so much for tuning in, and happy life, happy times, Changemaker families. Bye. Please remember that the information shared on this podcast is educational in nature and does not constitute licensed mental health advice. If you need such advice, you should speak with a licensed professional about your unique situation. Thanks so much, happy listeners.